Now, with many pools still closed and temperatures soaring in much of the UK, you may have been tempted to try a bit of open water swimming recently.
Maybe not as much as this fella, though. This is George Taplin. He's 20 years old and he's just finished a major challenge to swim his way across the Lake District, clocking up an incredible 43 miles in 3 days.
He went in 13 lakes and had to wear 4 different wetsuits to prevent spreading algae. George joins us now from his home in Buckinghamshire to tell us more. George, the first question I will ask you is why?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, last summer I tested myself on a long swim. I was just curious. I've been a competitive swimmer growing up, and normally my main event's been 4 minutes long in the pool, 400 metres. So I was curious to see how far I could swim in one go. So I set out on the Thames from Henley, and I ended up swimming for 10 hours and covered 38 kilometres. So this summer I wanted to plan, again, another UK adventure, and I wanted to go and do Lake Windermere. And then on the map I saw Lake Coniston is very close by, so I figured I'd try and do that one as well. And then I quickly built the idea that actually all the lakes are in fairly close proximity. I looked at what the total mileage was and thought I'd give it a go.
And just remind us, so that it's what, about 40 miles, 45, something like that altogether you swam? Yeah,
exactly. Yes, it's about 43 miles in total, with the longest lake being Lake Windermere, and that was 10 miles. And I did that on the first one. I had to try and crack that one first. I'm
just going to read the list, because I think it's when you do that, you realise what you've done. So it's Lake Windermere, then Coniston Water, Wastwater, Crommock Water, Buttermere, Bassenthwaite, Ullswater, Brothers Water, Elter Water, Grasmere, Rydal Water and Derwent Water. You must be exhausted.
Yeah, when you're swimming for long distances, you're normally actually swimming at a moderate intensity when you're going for, when you're swimming for 7 hours, but it's more about the stress on your tendons and shoulders. So coming from like a competitive swimming background, I was trying to move through quickly because the water was so cold and I wanted to keep my core temperature up, but that meant that some of my tendons in my shoulder, that was starting to let me down towards the end.
I mean, I'm stating the obvious here, but if you're going for a really long run, you can stop. You're swimming, you can't stop. Yeah. So what do you do? I mean, what were the hardest bits for you and what were the most challenging things? Because that's such a lot of, a long distance to cover in really cold temperatures.
Sure. I think the largest thing is your calories. So I was expending around, I think my Garmin sort of sports watch was estimating around 8,000 calories a day. And with the cold water, you're expending more calories. So the hardest part of this challenge was actually eating enough. Because, of course, when you're swimming, it's very hard to intake actual proper foods. It's easier with fluids. So it was sort of just plenty of bananas, really. And I was lucky it was only a 3-day event. So I could just build my carbs up before.
And I gather that when you finished, you were presented with some celebratory vegetables.
Yes, yeah, that's right. No, a good friend from university, he was nearby, and he sort of, he knows that's my favourite vegetable. And because I've just been having sugars and simple carbohydrates throughout the swim, I told him that I've been sort of can't wait for a proper normal meal, and he got presented with a broccoli at the end of my final swim.
Way to go. Well,
yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
And you've been raising money for charity, haven't you, in doing this?
Yeah, exactly. Been raising money for Just a Drop, which are a clean drinking water charity. They work in over 30 countries worldwide, and they're doing some really great work where they're just introducing simple technologies that are sort of, filtering water and just improving access to water, which is almost a given. I mean, I swam in over 43 miles of it here, which isn't the case all around the world. So I'm really hoping to raise more money.
Well done.
Incredible.
Thank you very much indeed. George Taplin,
Thank you.
Super swimmer across the Lake District. Brilliant.
Yes.